Hello, good afternoon viewers, good afternoon principals, subject teachers, dear children. In Mana TV studio we have a special guest today, George Worky. He taught English in Don Bosco School and Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan for about 12 years. And he worked as principal for 8 years in different CBSE schools and SSE board schools, and he also worked for a group of institutions of CBSE as a school inspector, implementing and monitoring on CCE. So I welcome you also, sir. He is presently working as academic coordinator for APSWREIS Society. So before we actually come into the mode of discussion on CCE, let me inform you that up to 3:45 we will be discussing something about the structure, implementation, the competencies, the weightage, and how we have to implement the CCE in our evaluation system. Then after 3:45 we will be taking the calls from the participants and viewers, and if they have got doubts on the CCE about implementation and about its practice in the school curriculum, then definitely we entertain and we are going to clear most of the doubts of them in this session. So before I want to start, I would like to ask you one thing. What is this CCE and how is that actually it has started in the school curriculum?
Okay. Good afternoon to all of you, principals, teachers, and children. CCE started by Central Board of Secondary Education in 2009-10 academic year. Many people, many students, many teachers and parents also having a fear of CCE. They think that it is a big monster. We have been doing this CCE knowingly or unknowingly in our teaching learning process. Let me tell you that first of all.
That's true.
It is little scientifically designed. It is continuous comprehensive evaluation. It refers to a system of school-based evaluation that covers all aspects of a student's learning process.
Yes.
Now, it's a developmental process of the students. Teachers have to monitor all the activities of the students all through the year.
That's true.
Let me come to the present system across India is we test the students only
At the end
on
of the
academic year.
That's true.
Unit test, quarterly, half yearly and annual examinations. But there is no system in place for assessing how the learner has got that grade, what are his parameters of learning that, and what are his all-round development. So that's why CCE is very important in the present scenario.
Sir, this is term-wise, we used to have the quarterly examination, half-yearly examination or annual examination. This is only a pen-paper test.
Yes.
Now, your CCE also says that we have got formative assessment and summative assessment.
Yeah.
Can you just elaborate, what is this formative assessment?
Okay. Formative assessment is, in simple terms, means it is a formal assessment of a student's learning process by using various tools and techniques. For each subject, there is a tools. For example, English, you can test the English learning by the students by, suppose a teacher has taught a lesson. A teacher can test the students by introducing a role play. A maths teacher can test the students by introducing a map, a bar graph. A social studies teacher can test the students by using a map reading. A science teacher can test the students by giving him an experiment or a model, whether static or working. Now, yeah.
Sir, before we proceed,
Yeah.
can you just actually give us the structure of, that is CCE, that is how many formative assessment we have in an academic year, and how many summative assessments we have in the academic year,
Okay.
and how many terms actually do we have?
Okay. Before that, I would like to tell you something. Let me explain each and every component of CCE. It is continuous comprehensive evaluation, I told you.
Yes.
Continuous means the testing doesn't stop with only one unit test, only one quarterly or annual examination.
That's true.
Testing, assessment or testing is a continuous process in the life of the student as long as he spends his life in the school. Now, what means comprehensive? It is assessment of the students in both scholastic. Scholastic means it is subjects like maths, English, Hindi. We have five subjects in the class, in the school curricula. And also co-scholastic activities and areas. Means you have a lot of activities like, games and sports and literary activities, club activities. All this will come under scholastic areas and activities. Now, what is evaluation? It is assessment of a learner's development process. So, it is continuous and comprehensive evaluation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I was asking you, sir,
Yeah.
there are how many terms we have, and how many formative assessment we have in an academic year, and how many summative assessments we have in an academic year, and what are the weightages actually you are giving it to it?
Yeah, that's it's a very good question. It's naturally all of us bound to have such a doubt. Let me clarify that. Now, as per the CPSE, they have only 2 terms, but now given our schedule, we have made into 3 terms. That is, first term is from June to September.
Yes.
Second term is from October to December. And third term is January to April.
Okay.
Now, the unit test what we are conducting now, it will be known as formative assessment.
Okay.
The term examination will be termed as summative assessment.
Okay.
Essay and FA.
In first term, how many formative assessment we have, and how many summative assessments we have?
Okay. FA1, that is formative assessment 1 to be conducted in month of June or July.
Okay.
FA2 to be conducted in August or September.
Okay.
And second term, formative assessment 3 should be conducted in October or November. SA2, summative assessment 2 should be conducted in the month of December. Okay. And third term, we have 1 formative assessment and 1 summative assessment. That is, formative assessment 4 should be conducted in the month of January and February. And SA3, that is the final, in between March and April.
Okay.
Now, you have formative assessment 1 is for 10 marks, 10% of that. Formative assessment FA2 is for 10 marks, FA3 is for 10 marks, and FA4 is also for 10 marks.
Sir, let me clarify some of the viewers.
Yeah.
So, we are calling as 10 marks.
Yeah.
But in the circular, we are giving the question paper for formative assessment for 20 marks.
Okay.
So, it means that we conduct the test for 20 marks, but we reduce it to 10 marks.
Exactly.
That is the weightage of what George Workey was actually saying, that formative assessment is for 10 marks, formative assessment 2 is 10 marks. It is not 10 marks, it is 10% of the total marks of 100.
Exactly.
It is a weightage.
Yes, it's a weightage.
So, it is a 10% weightage.
Yeah.
And then summative assessment, they carry the 20% weightage.
Yeah.
Though we conduct it for 100 marks, but we reduce it to 20. That's what it means.
Yeah. Similarly, to add to that, similarly, the summative assessment usually we conduct for 100 marks.
Yes, sir.
But it should be converted into 20 marks again. That is 20% of SA1 20%, SA2 20%, SA3 for 20%. So, formative assessment for 40%, summative assessment for 60%, 20, 20 and 20. So, it is 60 plus 40. So, at the end of the year, when you want to calculate the cumulative record of the students in scholastic areas, it comes to 100 marks, but you see the 9-point grade scale.
Yes, sir.
91 to 100, A1, A2 up to E grade. That can be explained later. It will be converted to 9-point grade.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sir, what is the format actually we are going to follow for the formative assessment? And what are the areas, what are the competencies we have to test? And do we have the pen paper test or not?
Yeah.
So please actually explain, because our viewers, they have got so many doubts that what are the competencies we have to test it, and what is the weightage we have to give it, and how best actually we have to conduct this pen paper test.
Okay. Now, pen paper test is conducted only for essays,
Yes.
summative assessment. That is essay 1, essay 2, essay 3 should be conducted in pen and paper test.
Okay.
As I told you, it will be a 100 mark question should be converted into 20%.
That's true.
Now, FA, you have 4 FAs. Of that, the first FA, in fact, we are going to have, you have already given question paper, I heard that, and that should be, the question paper should be 20 marks, it should convert into 10 marks. Among the 4 FAs, one can be pen and paper test. That is,
Yes.
we call it written test.
Sir, actually, as per the instructions of the secretary,
Yeah.
so he is asking the academic section
Okay.
to conduct the pen paper test for all the formative assessment. So he is suggesting
Yeah.
that the pen paper test should be there for all the formative assessments. Formative assessment 1, 2, 3 and 4.
No, okay.
Okay. And then in formative assessment, generally we conduct the classwork. We are going to assess the classwork, homework, projects, oral questions, quizzes, conversations, then interviews, research work, assignment and test. So the last component is assignment and test. So that would be a pen paper test.
Yeah.
And that pen paper test will be continuing
Yeah.
for all the formative assessment 1, 2, 3 and 4. And in summative assessment, we are going to have, anyhow we are going to have the pen paper test, that is for essay 1, essay 2 and essay 3. Sir, let me actually clarify some of the viewers that they were asking me, sir, what are the competencies that we have to test in formative assessment 1? So, in a couple of days, that is by tomorrow or day after, we are going to send you the manual on CCE. And in that manual on CCE, we are sending you all the proformas and all the competencies that need to be actually tested in formative assessment 1 and in other tests also. So, sir, will you actually clarify or give enough details on the formative assessment?
Okay, fine. Now, as I told you, formative assessment is only one pen and paper test is allowed.
Yes.
If you conduct all formative assessment into pen and paper test,
Yes.
we are going against the spirit of CCE.
That's true. But actually, we are so habituated that the children, they learn when they do have the test. So based on the, we are going to adopt, or we are going to simplify the CC mode of evaluation to our system.
Okay.
So better actually we conduct the pen paper test for all the formative assessment. And the competencies for languages like Telugu, Hindi, English. Can you just actually give the details of?
Yeah. Let me just once again clarify. I think Irfan sir, you are still holding on to FA,
Yes.
Conducting pen and paper test, because we are so involved in our system for the last maybe last 50 years. We have been conducting the students. The main idea about CCE is, the features of CCE is a student-centered learning. So far, the teacher teaches, she conducts and she evaluates. For example, in our system, we give 10 question answers to the students. We ask them to study by heart, and 5 or 6 will short it will come.
So it's only a memory retention
We are
test.
only memory and rote learning, that is by hearting.
Yes.
So CCE wants to come out of that. I know it is very difficult to come out of that, because we are so embedded in the system that it's very difficult. Change is always difficult.
Yes.
So maybe it will take another 1 year full, maybe for some it will take 1.5 years to transform it. For example, just for your information, when CBSE has introduced CCE into their curriculum way back in 2009-10, there was a lot of protest and a lot of confusion. Even now the confusion has not been solved because the method is so complex. But once you understand the spirit behind it, it is an examination stress-free method. It's a stress-free learning. It's a student-centered learning. If you understand this one, you'll understand CCE. Okay, now let me come back to your point, what you have been asking me about subject-wise. So, I have got the assessment, student assessment, the activities. What are the activities
Yes.
the subject teachers, the language teachers can conduct? I have made all the activities in monthly wise so that the teachers can easily follow them.
That's true.
For example, month of June or July, you can conduct one formative assessment. In our case, this year it is completed, but next year onwards, we have to stick very diligently to this schedule.
Yes.
So, the teachers can conduct debate, the English, Hindi and Telugu teachers, I hope you are listening. You can conduct a debate, you can ask the children to write a dialogue writing, you can ask children to make diary entries, story writing, informal letter, sing a poem, or conduct quiz, that's oral or written. You can have comics writing, picture reading, elocution, extempore speech, recitation, article writing, or group discussion, role play, narration, very short answers and projects, even handwriting.
Yes, sir. But there might be a confusion that do we have to conduct all the competencies for a formative assessment? No, I think no. Because we have to select 2-3 competencies.
Yes.
They have to select 2-3 competencies out of the entire list, and they have to conduct it for many times.
Yes.
In a month, they can conduct it for 2, 4, 5 times.
Yes.
So when they conducted the debate or discussion or good handwriting practice sessions or recitation of the poem, when they conducted 4, 5 times, the best 3 or best 1 can be selected out of the 5. Can you just actually give with an example?
Yes. Let me clarify it with example. For example, an English teacher. In the month of June, July, she has completed 1 poem and 2 lessons.
That's true.
So, for a poem, she can use a role play or any of the activities which I have just now told you, or an English teacher or Hindi teacher or a Telugu teacher or language teacher can do that. For the next lesson, she can use maybe a diary entry or a debate on that lesson.
That's true.
Or for the second lesson, there is 1 poem, there is 2 lessons. And the second lesson, she can conduct maybe an extempore speech on that, or a project on picture reading, collage making, anything can be there.
Yes.
So, in short, she can use 2 or 3 techniques. We call these are all techniques. Techniques to conduct. So, debate, diary entry, story writing, quiz, recitation, extempore speech, book review, all these are called techniques. So, they can use any of the techniques but you should be very careful. Once you use a technique, for example, for a poem you use role play. You should not use role play for the entire year again.
Again, for the next other poems also, role play should not be used. Okay.
So, that should be well borne in mind. Otherwise, what happens? Teachers they use always role play. It's very easy. You assign roles to children and you sit and watch, they are doing well. No, that's not correct.
No, how is that we have to give the marks to the children? How we have to give the grades to the children for all these competencies assessments?
Okay. And by the way, it's a group, we can conduct them, we can test them in a group or pair or single.
So it will be an individual activity, it can be a group activity, or it can be an entire class activity.
Yes, okay.
So it all depends upon the subject teacher's, what I can say, the interest. Or the area of actually the subject. So they can conduct as a group or as an individual or a classroom activity.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, exactly.
Okay. And now, for example, if you have a role play, you have used this tool and technique as a role play, there will be 5 or 6 children in a group, and you have given one topic. You can either give one topic or different topics to the 3 groups or 4 groups, whatever the strength of the classroom. And suppose a group got, and you are very impressed by, and you have to develop a parameter by yourself. Parameters means the rubrics developed for a role play, and in fact I am going to do that also. For 9 activities I am going to develop a rubric parameters.
Very good.
For it will be easy for the teachers.
Yes.
So for example, a group A, they have scored excellently 10 out of 10. So if you convert that into grade, it is A grade.
Yes.
So all these group members, say for example 5 members are in a group, all the 5 will get A. And group C, they got only C grade or B grade. All the group has to be shared with the B. All the group members will get B grade only, because it is a group work.
Group work.
Yes. So for example, let's take another example of extempore speech. Suppose I have taken extempore speech. It's an individual activity.
Yes.
And the teacher is so impressed by the delivery and the conduct, the pronunciation, the diction, and the content of the matter. So the teacher is so impressed, she gives him A. It is tested on A grade. So he gets the A grade. If it's a pair work, you have many pairs in the classrooms, and both shares that grade.
So the 2 persons who are getting the B grade, then the 2 persons will get the B grade only.
Exactly.
In the if a group has got about 5-6 members, then if they get the B grade, then they will, all the children who are in the group, they will get the B grade only. So for next this one, sir, for after language, we have certain content subjects like maths, social, and sciences.
Okay.
So what are the competencies? Can you just enumerate?
Okay. For mathematics, you can conduct again model making, chart making, problem solving, data handling, PowerPoint presentation, a seminar, a project, short answers and very short answers. You can conduct quiz, for example, you can conduct quiz, written or oral. You can have different peer review. They can they can discuss. We can have a peer discussion and a peer review. You can have, and you can have various graphs, bar graphs, pie graphs, picture graphs, all kind of graphs are there. The math teachers are very well aware of that.
Data handling.
Yeah, data handling. All this can be.
Yes.
Now coming to
the sciences.
Coming to sciences, I should say that the sciences are very, very lucky, because you can show them something, experiments.
Yes.
You can make projects. You can have
again group discussion, seminars,
you can
quiz,
have experiments.
Yes.
You can have model making. Static means non-working, and working model you can have.
And collection of samples,
yes.
Collection of the plants, collection of small this one.
Yeah, they can also have science quiz.
Yes.
You can conduct science quiz, whether written or oral. So, but one thing, let me tell you, viewers, principals and teachers, please keep a record of all the activities you are conducting, because it's very important. We are answerable. It's transparent and we are answerable. So you may conduct, maybe you may just conduct a role play offhand, or a debate, or a youth parliament in social studies, that I will tell you now. So all this kind of record should be kept.
Yes.
Maybe a notebook will do.
There
for the
should
whole
be a register. A bound register should be there.
Should be there.
Yes.
And we are also planning of releasing a academic record for
yes.
each and every teacher will get a record for subject wise, and the teacher has to write student wise. And coming to social studies, you can conduct debate, you can conduct map readings, and you can conduct a skit, you can conduct a role play.
Yes.
And field visit, you can have surveys, and field visit reports you can write.
Yes.
And comparison and contrast, and tour report, elocution, we can models and charts.
Yes.
So there are around 19 activities which for the social studies teachers.
That's true, sir.
Yeah.
But for example, in the formative assessment 1, which is scheduled from 29 of this month, that is on 3 days we have formative assessment 1. So that is pen paper test we are conducting.
Yeah.
And that would be for 20 marks.
Yeah.
So now what all actually we have discussed? Is it for up to 10th class or for 5th to 8th?
Okay, that's a very good question. In fact, I anticipated that question from you.
Yes.
You know, as I said, we all of us view as CCE as some big monster.
Yes.
And little confusion is there. And many of our learned principals they know a thing or two about CCE. But you know, let me tell you, yesterday I was going through the question paper for FA1 sent by a certain school, but they have not given the marks on the question paper.
That's true.
So I was really surprised, and I just wanted to know why. I was quite curious about it. So I called up the principal concerned, and he was telling, sir, as per the CCE scheme, you are not supposed to give marks. We are supposed to give only grades. I said, no, I don't know who has given you that instruction or who is your trainer. That is the wrong way. Without giving the marks, how do you convert that into grades? Okay, let's leave it aside. Suppose you give a question paper to the student. How does the student know this is for 5 marks or 2 marks or 1 mark? If he knows that it is for 5 marks, he can write elaborately.
Yes.
If he knows that it's for 2 marks, he will concise his question answers and make it in a brief.
Yes.
So he mentally prepares and he writes it. So don't get confused. CCE, we have to give marks, but this mark will not be appearing in the progress report.
That's true.
Only the grades
will be reflected.
That's true. So these marks are given for us to, easy for us to convert into grade.
Yes.
Okay.
I was asking you, sir, that this formative assessment, it is for class 5th to 8th. So the competencies just now George actually enumerated. It has to be implemented for the classes 5th to 8th. And for 9th and 10th, it will be a normal test only, pen paper test only. And further, in the formative assessment 1, we are conducting a uniform pen paper test for all the classes for about 20 marks. 20 marks we have reduced it from 25 to 20. It is only because to give a uniformity in SAM application. We have got students academic management system. So in the SAMs, every teacher has to enter the marks in the SAM application. So while they enter, there should not be any confusion. When we prepare the report card or when we prepared certain areas of reporting of marks in any SAM's application sheets, so there should not be any confusion for the teacher or for the analysis report that some tests are for the 25, some classes they have got 25 marks and some classes they have got for 20 marks. So to maintain the uniformity in the SAM application, we have devised actually a common format of devising the pen paper test right from 5th to 10th. So let me clarify another aspect, that in content subjects that is math, science and social, we have divided the question paper into 3 sections. Section 1, it carries about 6 questions. Out of them they have to answer 3. So 3 into 2, 6 marks. In section 2, we are going to give you the 4 questions. Out of 4, they have to answer 2 questions. Each carries 5 marks, 10 marks. And similarly, the last question, section C, we are going to give you 2 questions. Out of them, they have to answer only 1. So it carries 4 marks. So altogether, about 20 marks. So then, apart from these 20 marks, every teacher, who are handling 5th class, 6th class, 7th class and 8th class, they have to also conduct formative assessment, co-scholastic activities. They have to also assess the children in the co-scholastic areas. Am I right, sir?
Yes, sir.
So now, we are in the CCE, we have got 3 areas. Number 1 area is scholastic area, sir.
Yes.
Number 2